Hello Internet, welcome back to another video. And in this video, we're diving into 10 underrated anime you might have completely missed. Now look, with how fast anime seasons drop and how much hype gets funneled into the same 5 shows every year, it's no surprise that some genuinely great series slip under the radar. This video is here to shine a light on those hidden gems. The ones that didn't get massive marketing, viral memes, or mainstream love, but absolutely deserve a spot on your watch list. Whether you're into slow burn romance, nostalgic magical girls, emotional gut punches, or workplace nerd love, this list has a little bit of everything. And chances are, at least one of these will have you wondering how it passed you by in the first place. So if you enjoy discovering anime off the beaten path, or just want to refresh your queue with something different, make sure to like, subscribe, and drop a comment to support the channel. It really helps out. And hey, stick around till the end of the video and leave a comment with the phrase Summer Confession Energy. So I know you're one of the real ones who actually watched the whole thing. Also let me know which underrated anime you think deserves more love. Maybe it'll show up in the next list. Alright, let's not drag this out any longer. Let's begin. Bruh. Let's talk about True Tears, an anime that sounds like it'd be a typical romance, but actually hits way deeper. So what's it about? You've got Shinichiro, a high school student who wants to write picture books, but ends up living in one of the most emotionally confusing love polygons anime has ever created. He lives with a girl named Hiromi. She's the classic quiet at home, cheerful at school type, but things aren't that simple. Enter Noah, a strange bird-obsessed girl who says she gave away her tears and now wants them back. And just like that, the show dives headfirst into grief, healing, and all the emotional messiness that comes with growing up. What makes it stand out is how real it feels. The characters aren't just tropes, they've got layers, they're messy, they're dealing with pain they don't know how to name. The show is packed with symbolism, subtle emotional turns, and visual storytelling that hits hard if you've ever been in a complicated situation where feelings don't match actions. Plus, the animation by PA Works is legit beautiful. They took real locations from Toyama Prefecture and turned them into this soft, melancholic visual landscape that fits the story perfectly. That said, the pacing can feel a little slow, especially in the beginning. It's not rushing to throw drama at you, it simmers. And yeah, there are a couple of subplots that kind of vanish. But if you're watching for emotional payoff, it delivers. Why didn't more people talk about it? Well, it aired in 2008, smack in the middle of a bunch of heavy-hitter romance and drama animated. It also didn't help that it was loosely based on a visual novel, but ended up telling a totally different story, which confused the fanbase, and with barely any international push, it just slipped past most viewers. But here's the thing, if you're into emotionally grounded romances with complex characters, and you're okay with some melancholy vibes, this one's for you. It's a hidden gem that doesn't get enough love. You're not just watching people fall in love. You're watching them deal with guilt, distance, loss, and trying to make sense of their own feelings. Give it a shot if you want something a bit slower, a bit sadder, and a lot more emotionally honest than your average romance anime. Next up is As the Moon So Beautiful, which might just be the most realistic portrayal of first love anime has ever done. Without yelling, dramatic love triangles, or nosebleeds, just raw, awkward, middle school emotions. The story follows Kotaro, an aspiring writer, and Okane, a track team runner. They're complete strangers at first, just classmates thrown together by a school committee. But, slowly, through nervous glances, line messages, and silent moments, something tender starts to form. It's the kind of story that doesn't rush the romance. It just lets it breathe. What makes this one special is how subtle it is. It doesn't go big on drama or huge declarations. Instead, it leans into the small stuff, the way your hand hesitates over your phone before sending a message, the awkwardness of walking home together in silence, and the pressure of knowing your schools might not be the same next year. Every little moment between Kotaro and Akane feels genuine and earned. It's also beautifully animated with soft colors and slow pacing that match the gentle tone. Nothing feels forced, it's all about the emotional beats. And the background characters, parents, friends, even teachers, aren't just extras. They feel like real people influencing the story in believable ways. Now, if you like your romance with drama, twists, or high-stakes love battles, this probably won't hit that spot. It's slow. Very slow. Some might say not much happens. But that's the point. It's not about the drama. It's about how it feels to like someone when you don't even know what liking someone really means yet. So why didn't this get more love? Honestly, it's because it's so understated. It came out in 2017, a year packed with louder, more colorful shows. Plus, it wasn't based on a manga or light novel, so it didn't come with built-in hype. It just quietly existed, and that's kind of what it is as a show. Quiet and real. But if you've ever had a crush in middle school and still remember the way your heart jumped from a single text, "As the moon, so beautiful," is going to hit you right in the nostalgia. It's not trying to impress you, it's just trying to remind you how it felt to fall in love for the very first time. Now, let's switch things up a bit with Saray Children, which is basically what happens if you take every kind of awkward high school crush and toss them into one show. But somehow, it works. Instead of following just one couple, Saray Children goes full anthology mode. Each episode gives you a bunch of bite-sized stories about different students, all dealing with that chaotic mess we call young love. There's the guy who can't figure out how to confess, the couple that's already dating but doesn't know what to do next, the girl who's bold to the point of being terrifying, and way more. It's like someone took every version of How Do I Tell Them I Like Them and turned it into a hilarious, heartwarming highlight reel. What makes it so good is how real and relatable it is. The confessions are messy, the misunderstandings are frustrating, and the characters, despite only getting a few minutes of screen time, feel distinct and believable. You'd think switching between couples every few minutes would feel rushed or shallow, but somehow it hits just the right emotional notes every time. That said, the format isn't for everyone. Because it's built around short stories, you're not going to get super deep character arcs or a big plot payoff. Some storylines end with a smile, others with a question mark. And yeah, a few just stop. And since there's no central couple to focus on, it can be a little scattershot if you're looking for one story to latch onto. So why haven't more people seen it? Well, for one, the episodes are only 12 minutes long. That's easy to miss. And because it's based on a 4-panel manga with dozens of side characters, it didn't come in with much hype or major studio backing. No big promotional push, no trending hashtags, just a quietly excellent show that slipped under the radar. But if you're the kind of person who likes watching relationships bloom from all angles, funny, sweet, awkward, or painfully real, Saray Children is basically a crash course in young love. It's low commitment, super bingeable, and honestly just fun to watch in short bursts. You'll laugh, cringe, maybe yell at your screen a little, and then immediately click on the next episode. Switching gears completely, Bunny Drop is what happens when anime slows down, puts away the love triangles, and says, "Hey, let's talk about what it means to be a good adult." And somehow, it pulls that off without being preachy or boring. Here's the setup. Daikichi, a single 30-year-old guy, shows up at his grandfather's funeral and finds out that Grandpa had a secret love child, a 6-year-old girl named Rin. The family wants to send her to an orphanage. Daikichi says nope, and just like that, this guy who knows nothing about parenting suddenly becomes a full-time dad. What's so good about it is how real it feels. This isn't some magical, sugar-coated parenting fantasy. It's waking up late. It's awkward school interviews. It's, did I pack this lunch right? It's about learning how to care for someone while still figuring your own life out. The show doesn't rely on big plot twists. It thrives in the quiet, everyday stuff. Walking home, brushing teeth, late-night worries. And all of it feels meaningful because you're watching a bond form slowly, naturally, and with a lot of heart. Visually, it's soft and warm. The animation has this storybook charm that perfectly matches the tone, comforting but never saccharine, and the supporting characters are solid. They don't just fill background space, they bring out different sides of Daikichi and Rin and make the world feel lived in. Now, here's the thing. If you want action or romantic drama, this is not it. Rin is almost too perfect sometimes, like suspiciously well-behaved, and the story avoids heavy conflict almost to a fault. Some folks might find it a little too chill, but that's kind of the point. It's not about drama, it's about connection. So why did people miss this one? Honestly, it's because it doesn't look like your typical anime. No high school, no mechs, no love triangles. It's literally about a man raising a child. And as a josei anime aimed at adult women, it didn't exactly explode with the teenage anime crowd. It also only got 11 episodes, which isn't a lot of time to build hype. But if you want something mature, thoughtful, and actually kind of healing, Bunny Drop is a rare gem. It's the kind of show that sneaks up on you. Not loud, not flashy, just honest. And sometimes, that's exactly what you need. Let's take a detour into something a bit more epic. The Vision of Escaflowne. If you've ever wished your isekai anime had giant robots, psychic visions, romance, and fantasy world politics all at once, this one's for you. The story kicks off with Hitomi, a high school girl with psychic abilities who gets pulled into the world of Gia, a magical land where kingdoms are at war. Mechas are ancient relics, and fate isn't just a concept, it's an actual power that can be manipulated. There she meets Van, a young king with a massive sword and a dragon-slaying grudge. And Alan, a knight so handsome and dramatic, he makes every scene feel like a telenovela. The plot unfolds like a mix between Final Fantasy and a Shakespearean love triangle, packed with action, heartache, and lots of metaphysical chaos. What makes The Vision of Escaflowne stand out is how much it tries to do, and somehow mostly pulls off. It fuses mecha romance and high fantasy without leaning too hard in any one direction. The world building is rich, the lore is deep, and the soundtrack by Yoko Kanno absolutely majestic. Every scene feels bigger with her music behind it. Now, it's not perfect. The pacing, especially in the second half, gets a little rushed. The show tries to cram a whole epic into 26 episodes, and you can feel it. Some animation episodes look better than others. And yeah, the romantic drama gets very melodramatic. So if love triangles aren't your thing, be warned. So why did this one fly under the radar? Part of it is timing. It came out in 1996 and got caught in the shadow of both older classic mecha series and newer fantasy hits. And the original English dub wasn't great. Scenes were edited, some content got cut, and the marketing didn't really know who the show was for. Mecha fans, shoujo romance fans, it tried to please everyone and ended up with a bit of an identity crisis. But here's the thing, if you like genre mashups, powerful soundtracks, and stories that actually try to do something ambitious, The Vision of Escaflowne is a hidden treasure. It's got that old-school charm mixed with a level of depth and emotion you don't always get in modern anime. Definitely one to check out if you want something a little different and a little legendary. Time to talk about waiting in the summer, aka what if your summer romance came with aliens, secret identities, and a handheld camera filming it all. This one starts off simple enough. Kato, a high schooler who loves filmmaking, gets hit by a mysterious beam of light. He wakes up totally fine, but not for long. A new transfer student named Ichika shows up, and surprise, she's the one who saved him. And also, she's not from Earth. Of course, he doesn't know that yet. From there, what looks like a normal teen slice of life slowly unravels into a sci-fi love story packed with awkward tension, mutual crushes, and that one friend who's clearly suffering in silence because they're secretly in love with someone else. What makes Waiting in the Summer really click is the chemistry. The group of friends is small but tight-knit, and the way their feelings crisscross and clash feels honest. No one's a villain, but emotions get messy. And as they film their summer project together, that nostalgic, fleeting vibe kicks in. You know, the this can't last forever feeling. Every episode reminds you that summer's gonna end, and so might everything they're feeling. The sci-fi elements aren't super deep, but they're just enough to add stakes. You're not watching this for the alien tech or galactic politics. You're watching it because you care what happens to these kids when the summer is over and Ichika has to leave, or doesn't. And yeah, there's drama, but it builds to an emotional payoff that's surprisingly satisfying. Now, it's not without flaws. Sometimes the pacing stumbles, or the show leans a bit too hard on predictable love triangle moments, and the alien subplot, while fun, never really takes center stage. But honestly, that's okay. Because this show isn't about aliens. It's about the feelings we're too scared to admit until it's almost too late. So why did this one get overlooked? It's an original anime, so no manga hype train. It dropped in 2012 during a busy anime season and didn't get a huge marketing push internationally. Plus, the whole sci-fi meets romance thing can make it hard to pin down for casual viewers scrolling through genres. But if you love coming-of-age stories with a splash of supernatural, Waiting in the Summer is a bittersweet, beautiful ride. It captures that exact feeling of knowing everything is about to change, but still hoping for one more perfect day. Ever been deep into fandom culture or had a friend who was? Kiss him, not me. is going to hit very close to home in the best way possible. The setup is already a ride. Kai Serenuma is a hardcore fujoshi, meaning she's obsessed with BL manga and daydreams about the guys around her getting together with each other. She's overweight, pretty invisible at school, and happy to stay in her fantasy world. Then one day, her favorite anime character dies. She locks herself in a room to grieve and accidentally loses a ton of weight. When she comes back to school, suddenly every hot guy in a 10-mile radius is falling for her. But here's the twist. Kai is still a fujoshi. So while these 4 popular guys are all trying to date her, she's low-key shipping them with each other and imagining love triangles they didn't sign up for. What follows is a reverse harem anime that doesn't just acknowledge how weird that setup is, it leans into it hard, with self-aware humor, wild reactions, and tons of fourth-wall breaking BL references. What makes it fun is how chaotic and different it is from your usual high school romance. Kai isn't your standard cute, shy girl. She's loud, unapologetically weird, and absolutely committed to her fandom life. The boys are all distinct types. The cool one, the tsundere, the sweetie, the quiet one. And the comedy comes from how unprepared they are for the reality of dating someone like her. That said, don't expect deep emotional arcs or serious romantic tension. The romance mostly plays second fiddle to the jokes, and character development is kinda surface level. If you're hoping for a serious love story or a satisfying relationship payoff, this might not be your thing. So why did it fly under the radar? Mainly because it's super niche. If you're not familiar with otaku or fujoshi culture, some jokes might go over your head. And being a reverse harem, in a market already crowded with similar setups, didn't help it stand out, especially without major promotional backing. But if you want something light, loud, and completely self-aware, Kiss Him, Not Me is a blast. It's a parody of the genre that still manages to be a part of it. And it's perfect for viewers who know their fandom tropes and love to laugh at them. If you've ever watched Sailor Moon and thought, this is great, but what if everyone transformed using wedding dresses? Wedding Peach is exactly that kind of chaotic fun. The story follows Momoko, an upbeat middle schooler who's part of her school's newspaper club. One day, she discovers that she's actually a love angel. Basically a magical girl chosen to fight evil using the power of love. But not just any love, wedding-themed love. Yeah, you heard that right. When she transforms, it's not into some battle-ready outfit, it's a literal bridal gown. And she's not alone, her best friends Yuri and Hinagiku also awaken as fellow love angels. And together they take on devils threatening the human world while dealing with school drama and their own crushes. What makes Wedding Peach so fun is how unapologetically 90s it is. You've got friendship, romance, goofy villains, and sparkly transformations galore. It embraces every magical girl trope with open arms, color-coded besties, monster of the week, villains, sparkly speeches about love, and yet it still carves out its own identity through the heavy wedding motif and super strong themes of loyalty and friendship. Now, let's be real. It's not the most original show ever made. It borrows a lot from Sailor Moon, right down to the episodic format and villain setups. And if you binge watch it, you'll probably notice the formula gets repetitive. It's not super deep, and the plot can be a little on the nose. But if you go in with the mindset of watching something fun, wholesome, and totally retro, it delivers. So why didn't it make a bigger splash? Timing, mostly. It came out during the peak of the magical girl boom, and unfortunately, it was always in Sailor Moon's shadow. Also, its overseas release didn't quite hit right. It didn't get the marketing push or cultural impact its sparkly rival had, so it never really got a fair shot to stand out. But here's the thing, Wedding Peach is adorable. If you're into vintage anime aesthetics, love-themed magic, or just want a feel-good show where friendship literally saves the world, it's worth the watch. Plus, it's a cool time capsule of how the magical girl genre evolved and tried to do new things, even if those new things included wedding veils and heart-shaped weapons. Time to talk about White Album too. And heads up, this one isn't here to make you feel good. It's here to emotionally wreck you in the most beautiful, painfully relatable way possible. The story follows Haruki, a hard-working high school student and guitarist in his school's light music club. He's trying to save the club from being shut down, and ends up forming a trio with 2 girls, Satsuna, the soft-spoken singer with a hidden bold side, and Kazusa, a moody genius pianist with more going on than she lets on. Together, they create something really special, both musically and emotionally. And that's when things start to fall apart. Feelings get tangled. Honesty slips. And before you know it, you're in the middle of one of the messiest, most grounded love triangles in anime. What makes White Album 2 so powerful is how real it feels. The characters don't always make the right choices. In fact, they often make the worst ones, and the show isn't afraid to sit in that discomfort. There's no neat resolution, no clear villain, just three people trying to navigate feelings they didn't ask for. The emotional complexity is raw, and the show handles heartbreak with this quiet, aching maturity that's honestly rare in romance anime. The pacing is slow, but it's deliberate. You're meant to feel every unspoken thought, every glance, every moment of hesitation. And the soundtrack, it's not just background noise, it hurts. The music is a big part of the story, and when it hits, it really hits. But fair warning, this anime only adapts the introductory chapter of the visual novel. That means it ends on a note that might feel unresolved or even cruel. If you don't know, there's more in the source material. It's not the kind of show that hands you closure. It leaves you sitting in the consequences. So why did this one fly under the radar? For starters, it shares a name with the unrelated White Album, which confused a lot of people. Plus, the title sounds super generic. And since it's based on a visual novel, it didn't have a built-in anime hype machine behind it. It dropped quietly and never really got the spotlight. But if you're in the mood for a romance that feels adult, that explores love, regret, and emotional fallout without sugarcoating anything, White Album 2 is a must-watch. Just don't expect a fairy tale ending. Expect honesty. And maybe keep a blanket nearby for emotional support. You've seen high school romance, magical girls, summer flings, and emotional devastation. But what about love in the adult world, with two full-blown nerds? That's where watakoi love is hard for otaku comes in. This anime is about Narumi, a cheerful office worker who's secretly a fujoshi. Yes, another one. And Hirotaka, her quiet, deadpan gamer, childhood friend. After an awkward reunion at work, they decide to start dating. But their relationship isn't a whirlwind romance. It's painfully real, in the best way. You've got miscommunication, social anxiety, gaming marathons, cosplay dates, and a constant struggle to act normal in front of their normie coworkers. What makes watakoi so great is that it's refreshingly adult. The characters aren't dealing with final exams or school festivals. They're dealing with deadlines, burnout, and trying to make relationships work while being unapologetically obsessed with anime, manga, and gaming. And the show doesn't make fun of them for it, it celebrates it. The humor's quick, self-aware, and hits especially hard if you've ever tried to hide how into anime you are at work. Plus, the side couple, Hanako and Kabakura, bring their own chaotic, bickering energy to the mix, giving you two very different relationship dynamics to root for. Now, don't go expecting big drama or deep character arcs. Watakoi stays firmly in its comfy slice-of-life lane. It's episodic light and pretty low stakes. If you're looking for tear-jerking romantic tension or major plot twists, this one might feel too chill. But honestly, that's part of its charm. So why didn't it blow up? Well, it's short, only 11 episodes and an OVA, and it came out in 2018, up against some huge titles. Also, workplace romances don't usually pull the same crowd as high school love stories. And let's be real, not everyone gets the otaku humor if they're not already in that world. But if you're tired of anime romance where nobody ever communicates or everything's a life or death confession, Watakoi is a breath of fresh air. It's sweet, funny, and quietly heartfelt, like watching two introverts figure out love one nerdy step at a time. Alright folks, that's it for this video on 10 underrated anime you might have missed for today. We covered a bunch of series that slipped through the cracks, romances that hit you right in the heart, comedies that know exactly who they're roasting, and a few emotional gut punches you probably didn't see coming. Hopefully, at least one of them earned a spot on your "I'll watch this eventually" list. There's so much anime out there that it's easy for some real gems to get buried under the hype machine, but that's what makes digging them up kind of fun, right? Sometimes the best stories are the quiet ones that no one's shouting about. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and drop a comment to let the algorithm gods know you're into this kind of content. It seriously helps the channel grow. Also, if you made it this far, leave a comment with the phrase "underrated but undefeated." so I know you're one of the real ones who stuck around. And while you're at it, drop your own underrated anime picks. I'm always looking for more hidden gems to cover in future videos. Alright, I'll stop rambling now. Hope you found something new to love today, and as always, thanks for watching. I hope you have an awesome day, and I'll see you later.